नमस्कार मनोज जी। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर हमको ये अपॉर्चुनिटी देने के लिए। यहाँ पे तो हमको तो रात का नींद चला गया। तो मॉर्निंग 12:30। हम नॉर्मली आई गो टू बेड अकॉर्डिंग टू दिनाचर्या 10 o'clock 10:30। तो आज ये टॉक के लिए हम I'll stay awake whole night looks like. That's fine. It's an important topic that we need to discuss. But thank you first from your organization, SRDI or RI. हम बहुत आभारी जी आपको ये अपॉर्चुनिटी हमको मिला बात करने के लिए, थोड़ा थोड़ा शेयर करने के लिए। हमारा हम यूएस से हूँ। लॉस एंजलिस का नज़दीक में एक काउंटी है ऑरेंज काउंटी, 50 माइल्स अवे। वहाँ पे रहता हूँ योरबलिंडा करके एक टाउन में। रिचर्ड निक्सन का जन्म स्थान है ये। तो हम बहुत दिन से योग कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन लास्ट 7-8 years आई हैव बीन फोकसिंग हेविली। आई मेट मनोज जी in SVSA Bangalore. I did also did a master's. I also did a PGTYT, and I'm also doing a lot of Ayurvedic studies. So I'm very interested. 3-4 महीने जब कोविड स्टार्ट हुआ हम रिटायर कर लिया ये योगा करने के लिए। योगा, योगिक साइंसेस, योगा रिसर्च, योग योग को बढ़ाने के लिए हम जॉब नौकरी छोड़ के इस फुल टाइम अब ये कर रहा है। बहुत हमारा सेशंस होता है मेडिटेशन अगर बहुत कुछ करता है। हफ्ता भर बहुत सा सेशंस हम यहाँ पे करता है। होल वर्ल्ड से भी लोग जूम करके कि स्काइप करके ज्वाइन करता है लोग। ये हमारा आई कंसिडर दिस एज माई good luck that I can do it, that I am healthy enough to do it, and भगवान का कृपा। आज जो हम एक स्टार्ट का पहले हम आपको जो मिशन स्टेटमेंट है वो पढ़ा आपको। ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आपको है रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट श्री राघव दिव्य योग रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, बहुत ही अच्छा आपको मिशन है कि it's not only just Diwali and ये दशहरा, that's not our culture. Our culture goes very very deep, and it has to go to the village level. अब गांव का आदमी लोग को उठाने के लिए बहुत बात किया है। आप संस्कृति का बहुत बहुत सारे दिक के ऊपर आप बोले हैं आपको मिशन स्टेटमेंट में। हमारा दिल एकदम फुल हो गया है ना। आई एम वेरी वेरी हैप्पी टू सी सच अ वाइड विजन। सो थैंक यू मनोज जी फॉर creating such an institute and letting me talk in your forum. So, um, so my topic today is healthcare crisis in America. Hmm. हेल्थ केयर का क्राइसिस तो सब जगह में है। सब कुछ में सब कंट्री में कुछ ना कुछ हेल्थ केयर क्राइसिस है। और कोविड-19 होने के बाद तो ये क्राइसिस एग्जेजरेटेड हो गया, ज़्यादा हो गया। लेकिन अमेरिका में क्राइसिस थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्यूट, इट्स अ वेरी एक्यूट क्राइसिस। एंड आउटसाइड से तो नहीं है। ये नहीं है कि अमेरिका में सब कुछ हॉस्पिटल नहीं है कि क्लिनिक्स नहीं कि डॉक्टर्स नहीं, सब कुछ है। लेकिन इनका प्रॉब्लम दूसरा है। ये आई गो टू दैट, आई गो टू ऑल दैट क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है and why the alternate side, the alternate philosophies of yoga, Ayurveda, and other things, Chinese medicine, the acupuncture, acupressure, Chinese herbal medicine, all of these are coming together as a conglomerate, as an integrated pot. Hmm. This approach वो हमारा जो इंडिया में ऑलरेडी हो रहा है, इंडिया actually is quite ahead in that game. Um, and I'll talk about why it is going there. And we our country in India, देखिए इस डायकोटमी ये कि सब लोग जो लोग my friends, I come from a doctor's family, so I know everybody goes to whoever gets good marks going to allopathy because that's where the money is. And therefore, the science of Ayurveda and the science of yoga has been lost. And your mission statement also says that. And a revival of that is very important for a sustainable, consistent health ecosystem, not only in India, but सारा विश्व में. वसुदैव कुटुंबकम ओनली हो सकता है कि हम जब हेल्थी लाइफ लीड करें फिजिकली एंड मेंटली एंड बियॉन्ड. सो इसीलिए इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंटीग्रेटिव पॉइंट्स ऑफ health care and how we can all put it together. And there is a lot of work going on in USA, though it will take a while. It will take a while. People do not see yoga as just a yoga therapy or you can be used for therapy. They see yoga as a wellness thing. Similarly, Ayurveda also is much less known than yoga. Yoga at least has a popularity because do all kinds of yogas. And there are so many different types of yogas they have created um, and popularized. About 40 million people, करीब कर रहा है 40 million मीन्स क्या 4 करोड़ योगा कर रहा है रेगुलरली. ऑलमोस्ट $50 billion इंडस्ट्री हो गया. लेकिन it's growing. It will be $1 trillion industry in few years. That I strongly believe in. So before that, I like to talk about something different. वो जो हम अब बात किया ना संस्कृति पुराना संस्कृति जो लुप्त हो चुका. This is an interesting thing. The Sanskriti that was dying in India, our own Sanskriti, because of the foreign rules. Um, in some ways, that our Sanskriti was actually going in very silent way into America. And there's a book called. Um, Let me show you the book. It's called American Veda. American Veda by Philip Goldberg. I know this gentleman, wonderful gentleman. He's a Jewish person, but he has taken yoga and the Vedic path as his own path. And this is the man who started the revolution of Vedanta in America, Swami Vivekananda. And there were so many other followers that came through. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he was before Vivekananda. And so there was a thought pattern of looking into the Eastern mysticism, yoga, Vedanta, Vedas already there. Yeah, and I'll show you a couple of pictures. Here is um, Yogananda, here is Aravinda here, and this is Ramana Maharshi, and several others who have greatly influenced Mahesh Yogi with all the Beatles, um, and then Sachidananda ji, Maharaji Prem ji. He has a very big following. People, he's not that one, and then Iyengar ji. So all these people, and so many, and now Sri and Sadhguru and others, have made an impact using yoga, meditation, our Vedantic thoughts, our and bhakti. Bhakti has become. There are several, not only Hare Krishna. There were some early bhaktis, Swami Ram Tirtha and others, in 1902 came to United States and gave a fantastic initiation to this whole culture. And the another person who influenced America very much so, and it's not talked about because he's a poet and he's a he's a writer who is our India's national poet, Rabindranath Tagore. After he got his Nobel and then when he visited America in 1916, 17, his lectures were nobody could sit there or standing place away. He was only standing allowed. Nobody could sit. It was so crowded. It was so popular. And he mixed the messages of Vedanta and Vedas and Vedanta along with his poetic, expression of those. That really moved America for few decades. And but all these people have done it very silently. एक पटाखा नहीं भेजा, नो कोई दिवाली भी नहीं हुआ, लेकिन साइलेंटली फल्गु रिवर का तरह ये अमेरिका का सोल में घुस गया. And that's why I'm giving you this little background. That's why I think America will be the place where this integration of philosophies, the Western and the Eastern, will happen very, very effectively. And it's already happening to a certain extent. Now, true, there are laws, regulations. American Medical Association will not like to have others invade into their space, but still it's happening because there is a crisis going on in this country, and I'm going to talk about that. But these people, these spiritual leaders, philosophers from India, who took the word of the Vedas and traveled across the ocean and brought it to the shores of America, they actually, in a way, conquered the minds of a lot of Americans. I'm not saying all Americans are know that, but all Americans in some way or other is influenced by. The word karma is very much influenced. Reincarnation is a concept. A lot of people, a lot of Christians and Jews, and they should not, but they in a way agree to that or believe in that. There's always a curiosity about Indian philosophy. And of course, there is a lot of right wing Christians also. They don't like uh, to see all these pagan and heathens over here. That's also there. But it's a democracy, different portion, different people. But in general, people are open. When I go and talk to a doctor, I go to my own doctors or other doctors. I go to in forums and talk to them about breathing and other things and yogi postures. They will listen. But I have found in India some of the very arrogant doctors, they think this is all chunky punky. Even today, they will say, "Oh, it's like an exercise. It has some value because it's an exercise." No, yoga is much much more than exercise. And there are a lot of evidence-based science is coming up saying, "Hey, yoga, maybe the same techniques we are using, but we are using our breath, we're using our mind, we are using our nadis and the pranas, the way we are using it, and the context of those usage are very very different, and that's why the effectivity also is different. And I'll talk about some of the research that has happened here, and of course Vyasa and other places in India and other places. Harvard doing a lot of researches, and in COVID-19 there are a whole bunch of research going on in different universities, Harvard, UC Santa Barbara, Stanford, and others. So where do I stand? So what I'm saying is that Americans are probably the most open of all other countries, in my mind. And I have not visited or talked to a whole bunch of people from other places, but I feel ki because of this work done by our prophets, our rishis, our sages, Swami Vivekananda, Yogananda, Sadhguru, and others who have traveled, gone, talked, preached, and given value. I mean, they do a lot of techniques into that, management of stress. Stress is such a big important thing in America. It's becoming one in US, India too. But in America, it's very, 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 very high stress. Jobs are of high stress. You can anytime lose a job. Um, it's The families are not like Indian families, and it's a little bit of spread out, and they help each other, but not like our culture. So there are a lot of systemic potholes in USA that needs the kind and compassionate touch of Indian philosophy, and that's what we are talking about. And that's where I personally believe that USA, if it doesn't happen in USA, it'll not happen in anywhere else. That's how I strongly feel that that um, the integration of East and West, and that's why probably Swami Vivekananda said this: if East meets West. That's a philosophy, and that probably happened in the United States of America. Okay, so um, so so with this background, so there's a philosophical background that has happened. There is a now yogic physical. Now, is yoga is like um, so most of the people treat yoga as a wellness thing. Well, it's centering thing. It's something mystical, yet it does a good thing for your body and mind. Your stress gets reduced. You can breathe well. So that's the catchy thing in United States. So अच्छा हम हाँ ठीक है हम feel good, breathing भी ठीक हो रहा है, and हम हमारा शरीर ठीक है, हमारा पूरा ब्रीदिंग ठीक है, हमारा लंग ठीक है, सब वो बहुत अच्छा है, ये बहुत अच्छा चीज़ है यार, ये की है just I only need a mat, so it's not that expensive of a hobby also. So that's how most people take. But there is a core group of people in America who is taking this to a level. So there are two groups. One is the philosophical group, Ramdas and others. They're taking it in one stream where yogic philosophy, dharma is all in their minds. And the other side is the scientific community, which is taking yoga and Ayurveda and taking it apart, doing all kinds of controlled studies, and um, trying to see where it fits. And in यूएसए का ये एक है कि ये लोग बहुत क्रिएटिव होता है, समटाइम्स टू मच, बट क्रिएटिव है ये लोग। आप एक कुछ सिखाएगा, वो करके एक दो दिन करके वो दूसरा थोड़ा चेंज कर लेगा। इसका इसका आदत ही है क्रिएटिविटी। ये लोग बहुत बिजनेस माइंड भी है। अगर ये है ठीक है, इंडिया में ये चलता है, लेकिन हमारा यहाँ पे ये चलेगा, and they will make the changes, and that's how actually yoga become popular. यहाँ का योगा थोड़ा different है than India ka yoga. If you, I'm sure you have seen a lot of videos and you see all of that stuff, and it's different, but it's also there's a lot of commonality. So what is the issue with US healthcare? यूएस हेल्थ केयर का यही प्रॉब्लम है कि high cost, very very high cost, and cost is rising like this. ऐसी rise नहीं कर रहा है, ऐसी rise कर रहा है एकदम exponentially almost. तो है each person's cost, per capita cost, is more than $10,000, and after COVID it may have gone up like really really high. So what we are saying is that the cost of healthcare, because it's a good healthcare, you know, you go to a nice building, you have all the equipment, you have all the tests. They'll do हजारों टेस्ट कर लेगा, एक कुछ हुआ तो टेस्ट कर लेगा, क्योंकि इसका इकोसिस्टम है कि इंश्योरेंस कंपनी pays for it. So you pay to the insurance, and those costs are going up and going up and going up. So where does it remain? Almost 20% of the GDP is healthcare. इंडिया में क्या है, 2% भी नहीं है. हाँ? 20% of GDP, very high, very high compared to the top 37 countries in the world. So what does that mean? Means is, if we don't control the costs of US healthcare, गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, पूरा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. एक एक it will not be sustainable. हाँ? Now ये भी ठीक है कि most of the people have health insurance, and कंपनी से जो कहाँ पे आप काम करते हो वहाँ पे they will give you insurance, most of the places, and then or you pay some money also for that. You buy insurance and company pays for it, and you combine करके ये थोड़ा affordable होता है. लेकिन ये every year insurance cost also is going up because insurance companies have to charge you more because they are paying more, and so on and so on and so on. तो ये तो नंबर वन प्रॉब्लम है. एक ये हम बोल रहे हैं कि एक एक टेस्ट, तो ब्लड ब्लड टेस्ट अगर हम अगर तो चीप है वो तो छोड़िए, लेकिन ये MRI, कैट स्कैन, ये वो, और कहाँ का पेट स्कैन, ये सब जो है, and they use it for even small things, okay, and they don't have the mindset of an alternate way, or hey, let's check it out, let's see. कुछ कुछ डॉक्टर को पास है, लेकिन मोस्ट ऑफ द डॉक्टर्स विल से हो प्रॉब्लम होगा, वहाँ पे हर्निया है, अभी सर्जरी कर दो, ये करो, एंड ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ, यू गो टू हॉस्पिटल मीन्स कॉस्ट इज going up. Okay, so that's why in Obamacare they wanted to move everything to primary care. So देखो, पहले ही तुम्हारा प्राइमरी केयर डॉक्टर मीन्स प्राइमरी जनरल फिजिशियन जो होता है, उनका पास तुम रेगुलरली जाओ कि तुम्हारा कोई प्रॉब्लम अगर हो तो दे विल कैच रियल अर्ली बिफोर यू गो टू द हॉस्पिटल. लेकिन अमेरिका में एक लार्ज सेक्शन ऑफ पीपल है अनडॉक्यूमेंटेड. इसके लिए ट्रम्प ट्रम्प के साथ भी प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, ओबामा का प्रॉब्लम हुआ. बहुत सारा आदमी लोग है जिसको डॉक्यूमेंटेशन नहीं है, उसको इंश्योरेंस नहीं है. एंड इन अमेरिका में लॉ है कि इफ़ यू आर in a serious condition, wherever you are and whoever you are, and you go to an emergency in a hospital, they will have to treat you. This is just a fundamental law. So if you come from India, you don't have insurance, and you have a heart attack, you will go to a to a hospital emergency. They will treat you, make sure you are safe, and then they will release you. They will send you $100,000 bill after that, but they will do the job. Now problem हो रहा है कि for a lot of undocumented people, they are going to government hospitals, so it's a big pressure on the government hospitals. They may send a bill, but who will pay for it? They don't have money to pay. These people are poor people, laborers. So that's another reason why this cost factor is having a huge problem. If you have, say, 10 million undocumented people who do not have insurance, with using the emergencies, it's a huge cost to the healthcare system. So that's number one. So that's one of the drivers of. So this drive towards alternate site is coming because of four different contexts. One is contextual, the cost, and I will go a little more detail on that. Then हो रहा है कि opioid pharmaceuticals. So पेन हो रहा है, ठीक है, ये दवाई ले लो. These are mostly steroid based medications or other types of NSAIDs and painkillers which have devastating impact on your body if used long term. And pain is a big problem in America. Back pain, neck pain, all kinds of aches and pains हो रहा है कि इसीलिए हो रहा है कि they don't do a lot of curative and smoothing exercises like yoga and Pilates in general. I'm saying there are 40 million people doing it now, but in general they were not doing it, and 330 million people. So there is a lot to go. So probably 10% की 12% लोग अभी योगा कर रहे हैं. So pain is a problem, and pain में क्या करता है वो सर्जरी होता है, or if there's a lot of pain they don't want to do say painkillers हो रहा है. So this is pain management has become a big problem and a multi billion dollar industry हो गया. And drug companies are there's a whole bunch of theory about it, how the drug companies work here. This is a big conglomerate of drug companies who charge whatever their prices go up. Their profit margins are like 400%, 400-600% profit लोग को. ये बहुत महंगा है. And insurance company pay for some of that, a lot of that. But you know, money ultimately comes from your premium and insurance. That's going up. So it's becoming a crisis. So cost, opioid. And then the other thing is things like yoga therapy or alternate things like acupuncture, acupressure. Um, lot of evidence-based researches are coming out. So we are having a huge amount of evidence-based research in different, and I'll share some of that uh, pointed information. I'll share with you. Those are very important transition point in the American healthcare history, and a lot of government agencies, a lot of very important schools like UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, one of the top medical schools, Stanford, Harvard, they are involved in different ways of looking at the alternate world. And there are government committees, NIH, and I'm not going to throw all these words out because it will be difficult for you to understand. But all the relevant industries are very getting involved to how do we handle the crisis. And yoga therapy is showing a lot of promise there. So they're doing cohort studies between physical therapy this and yoga therapy that, and पेन मैनेजमेंट ये योगा टेक्निक प्रोटोकॉल करोगे, ये प्रोटोकॉल करोगे, डायबिटीज मैनेज. So continuous research is happening, though it's not happening the way we would like to see it happen, because this needs to happen faster. There is still a lot of pushback from the American Medical Association and other medical constituencies about this. So, for giving a practical example, I see a pulmonologist. Like I had some lung issues, and I was working on it with pranayama, and I cured myself, and I went to the doctor and said, "Oh, you got cured. You are using my medication." I said, "No, I'm not using your medication, sir. I'm using my medication, which is breathing." And we had a long talk, and he said, "You do all of that?" I said, "Yeah." I don't know that. He's a pulmonologist. He doesn't know how to breathe. He has nobody in medical history have taught you these things. But our base level yogis know. So I actually I consult with him. He sends patients who need some help, and I deal with them. So point is, these types of one-off integration points are happening. It's not happening in a big way yet. We are hoping that once insurance companies start recognizing yoga therapy and Ayurveda, then it'll start become mainstream, because then people don't have to pay from their pocket. But otherwise, it's a lot of money. And if insurance doesn't pay for it, means that you are going to pay from your own pocket, and most people will not do that. Okay, so that's a big thing that's going to happen. Now, are there challenges in um, in here for us in this yoga therapy, the alternate world. The problem with alternate world and all the yoga therapies and even Ayurvedic treatment, they're prolonged. They're not done. It's not one. It's not purely reductionist. They're holistically reductionist. What that means is you don't give a little bit of um, medicine here, a painkiller. ठीक है हमारा तबीयत ठीक हो गया for 2 days and then it comes back again. But that's okay. I'm okay for 2 days. It doesn't happen that way. You what they say is with allopathic medication, it's heaven now and hell later. And with Ayurveda and yoga, it's hell now but heaven later. So slowly, we get into that mode of um, is the, of a um, prolonged protocol to keep yourself healthy. So it's a lifestyle change along with special protocols. In yoga, we create special protocols for special diseases, but along with it, we have a lifestyle change. Dinacharya change hota hai, Ritucharya change. Sab kuch change ho jata. You have to adopt to certain standards and norms because the body is a complex machine. It's not just only heart beating somewhere, or it's not only the brain working over here. It's a holistically integrated system, and that needs an integrated approach, and that needs a quick approach along with a long approach. That's the whole idea. And problem अगर ये yoga therapy and others का होता है कि long होता तो people most people cannot follow it. We cannot do it on a daily basis. So I have a whole bunch of patients that I work with. सो क्या करते कि हम कॉल करते लोग तुम क्या आज योगा किया ये किया हाँ हाँ नहीं आज भूल गया ठीक है भूल गया तो ऐसे तो होता रहा है लेकिन अगर तुम एक एलोपैथ मेडिसिन दो फटाफट ले लेगा इज इजी टू हैव ओके इफ यू टेक इट इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन रसगुल्ला का तरह खा लो बस आराम हो जाएगा. That's the kind of thing we are facing. And that is the issue with yoga therapy and Ayurveda. It's prolonged treatments take mental discipline. And that is where we have to work in a closed loop circuit. So what's happening is closed loop करने पड़ेगा. So I'm giving an example. यहाँ पे एक ऐसी एक शॉप है दुकान मीन्स डॉक्टर्स का बिजनेस है वो लोग डायबिटीज का ऊपर फोकस करता है एंड दे टेक अ लॉट ऑफ मनी इट्स नॉट covered by insurance and they say we will get rid of diabetes in 3 months guaranteed but you have to follow my protocol so they give a strong protocol plant-based diet and some exercise and all of that and they will call you 3 times a day did you eat this did you do this did you do that did you eat this did you do that did you do that सो ऐसे करके वो लोग वो जो क्लोज लूप जो हो रहा है ना जो जो प्रॉब्लम है कि ये हमको क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है हमें हमारा एक दिन योगा करे बोले ठीक है नेक्स्ट वीक आओ लेकिन एवरीडे करो लेकिन वो बोलेगा कि भाई आज नहीं हुआ कल नहीं होगा कल थोड़ा ये नहीं वो थोड़ा ये खा लिया ये थोड़ा खूब अच्छा कुछ खाना खा लिया that is the problem and that impacts the recovery of a person. तो इसीलिए हम लोग what's happening today is there is a whole ecosystem happening where supposing you have wearables you can get your blood pressure heart rate EKG and all that stuff here Apple Watch or whatever and then you track that they have Wi-Fi connection tracking that and the app calculates okay you did so many hours of exercise you did this way you did that and therefore you have so many points and that point is linked to insurance costs and incentives and all that that's how they're trying to do an automatized health ecosystem which will help um, incentivize so if I think that if I do yoga every day that means my insurance cost will come down or I'll get an incentive of some coupon somewhere something whatever or my company says, hey, if you do that, then we'll give you $50 more every month for doing this. And that's a big incentive. So that's also happening in a way so that people are taking care of their health preventively, proactively rather than reactively. So now let me give you some data points. So basically हम क्या बोला कि philosophically I think America is a good place to be in, and the work of all our great sadhus, swamis, yogis, and now also Sri Sri and all there are a whole bunch of people who have done huge impact on the yogic culture of America. Okay, it's not easy to have 40 million followers. There are different kinds, but people from India, yogis from India have done a remarkable job without doing a lot of hoopla. Silently काम किया, फल्गु रिवर का तरह अंडरग्राउंड काम हो गया. Hey, that's a layer. That's why I'm hopeful that the foundation there is something. Second thing is all these crises, cost, opioid, and the advancements of in yoga therapy, acupuncture, the research that has happened has hugely created a people are looking at it very, very seriously. Okay. And how will that happen? How help? Well, it'll help immensely. The cost will go down. If I can avoid 2 surgeries, 3 tests, and 5 hard medicine, my cost will probably go down drastically. The overall healthcare costs will start going down, and therefore preventative medicine, preventative healthcare. So if people are taking care of the health, and if people are incentivized to take care of their health, costs will go down, and that will have impact on the society. Now ये भी हम बोल रहा है कि देखो आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन अगर is not that cheap. It's getting very expensive also, but not as expensive, at least in America, as the pharmaceuticals, large pharmaceuticals with modern medicine, and it doesn't have as bad of a side impact. So the solution today, it looks good, but how it will pan out eventually, we don't know. But this much we know that in yoga, which doesn't need, if you focus only on yoga, and even to a certain extent naturopathy, you will need all kinds of medicines, right? So the expenses may be able to be contained if people are interested to follow or disciplined enough to follow the routine. And that is where I think um, um, uh, यही होला है कि हमको ये मालूम यही बोल रहा है कि ये आपको we have to look at it, we have to continuously monitor it. This integrated thing also might suddenly become one day very expensive, but now the trend is getting there. Now I'm giving you some roots examples. I have written down somewhere. So देखो cost of, so these are data points, just if you are taking notes, take notes of there. So American life expectancy 2018 का data माफिक is 78.5 years. So people are living longer and longer. Probably in 2020 it's probably 6 months more. And the average cost in 2018 data was $10,224. So that makes an overall cost in 2018, excuse me, $3.36 trillion. भारत का मोदी जी का जो ये है अब तो उससे कॉस्ट उससे ज़्यादा है. So India should become 5 trillion very quickly. Anyway, so that's a different point. Pharmaceutical spending out of 35 leading countries, India, US is number one. Yet, the health expectancy and overall health indexes is about 17th in the world. Now, let me tell you something. That may be true, but America probably has the best medical institutes in the world. So there are some places that are absolutely great research going on, great medical supplies going on, great medical minds, very, very, very highly calibered people are working there, and therefore they create very good products and outcomes. So that's also there, but that doesn't mean that all the places are like that. Just like in India, AIMS or गांव का एक हॉस्पिटल में भी वेरी डिफरेंट यू नो तरीका ही डिफरेंट है सो इसीलिए हमको हमको ये देखना चाहिए इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड सम पीपल विल से हे तुम्हारा अमेरिका का हेल्थ केयर बर्बादी हो गया दैट्स नॉट ट्रू इट्स नॉट ट्रू या इट्स वेरी एक्सपेंसिव and it's not evenly distributed. It's capitalistic, you know. So there are very good places and there are not so good places. But you know, like in Canada, there are good places. It's more socialistic in Canada, but it doesn't have. A lot of Canadians come to America for very esoteric surgeries and cancer treatments and all that, because here you get the best minds and the best instruments and all that in modern medicine. Okay, so but that is becoming out of control. So why is healthcare so? Because of this high cost. See, out of the top 10 or 8 US companies, Tino is health related. United Health Group, McKesson, CVS Health. और सब तो है अमेजन है एप्पल है सब तो है टेक कंपनी वॉलमार्ट एक्सॉन मोबिल ये सब है लेकिन 8 कंपनी में 3 कंपनी हेल्थ सेक्टर से आ रहा है ये नोट करना चाहिए कि बिकॉज दे आर मेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी दे आर मेकिंग प्रॉफिट and that's why the expenses are also going up. So a big part of the American health system is you know the game of money. Is बहुत पैसा इसमें. You know, doctors and all these medical professions, and then the pharmaceutical people, and all of that make huge, huge money. The companies make huge money, and their employees also make very, very good living. So spiraling costing हो रहा है एक. Second है कि healthcare is fragmented है. फ्रैगमेंटेड ये बोल रहे हैं कि हम इवन इन माई से हमारा हेल्थ केयर जो द वन आई गो टू इफ आई हैव अ प्रॉब्लम हियर इन माई स्टमक and a problem there in my back, often I have to go and tell my primary physician. So I have to go to a primary physician, then he moves me around. But I have to make sure that he knows everything. Because oftentimes, even though we have electronic health record systems and lot of interesting um, technologies, and we have portals, and we message your doctors and all of that stuff. But the information is so much that sometimes the doctors cannot keep track of it. And there is always a pressure from insurance companies. Oh, don't spend more than 15-20 minutes with each patient. Don't do this, don't do that. So they are also constantly under pressure. It's not the fault of the doctors, but that is how the system is growing. Okay, so that is becoming a problem because the primary care should know all your aspects. But now, so in order to take advantage of this system, each and every one of us have to go prepared to a doctor, not only to show my body, but I'll Google, find out everything about my medicine, I'll find out my disease, and have an intelligent conversation with them. And at least I do that. A lot of the things that we talk about, so even the doctors sometimes don't know because well, how did you get that? How do you know that? I said, yeah, this is here. Here it is. This research paper is talking about this. So it's a very different ballgame हो रहा है कि we are the patients are getting very medically educated, which is a good thing. But doctors cannot be given the a clean sheet of not having a responsibility of the patient also. So this is a two-way street. So what is integrative medicine will do? So the thing is a fragmented healthcare system जो बोला हम an integrated system अगर हो जाए and we add Ayurveda and yoga and everything in it, there has to be an ecosystem and that will be technology based. I'm almost sure without technology you cannot do that. That has to be put together in a nice ecosystem where doctors will know what's the primary problem kya ho raha hai, what has he gone through, and then when I come to him, he knows exactly what to look for rather than doing R&D research with me at that point of time and wasting everybody's time. Hmm? So the other thing is the modern healthcare system in America and India also. India, I see that all the time. It's worse in India. It's becoming very impersonal. The busy doctors, they don't know you. They don't know you're a number to them. It is known. Even in India, homeopathy, Ayurvedic also I've seen in Kolkata where I come from. अरे वो डॉक्टर कुछ ये नंबर तुम उसका पास एक नंबर भी नहीं है आ जाओ ठीक है क्या हुआ ओके लिख दो जड़ी बूटी लिख दो ये लिख दो ये हमारा जो पुरातन सनातन जो टेक्निक्स वगैरह वगैरह जो इकोसिस्टम था टू नो द होल पर्सन आयुर्वेद का तो ये है ना नो टू द होल पर्सन योगा थेरेपी में भी ये है कि नो द होल पर्सन ये तो चला गया ये इसको कैसे आनो फिर ले आओगे it's a challenging thing in modern world. Because people who do it will have to have spent their time and effort and वो अगर उसका प्रोफेशन है उसका तो प्रोफेशन उसका उसका भी तो थोड़ा लाइवलीहुड होना चाहिए ना if I spend 5 hours on or 4 hours on a patient per day to understand the patient then how many patients can I look and I'll get tired after a while patient will get tired after a while so it's a complex thing okay so so integrative health में acupuncture yoga therapy meditation breathing massaging all of these things are for naturopathy homeopathy is not that popular in America but naturopathy ayurveda is coming massages acupuncture is quite popular, much more popular than Ayurveda, and yoga is also getting quite popular. So, integrative health. So, what is the indication that America is going towards integrative health? Um, ये छोटा छोटा वाला है ये देखिए ये वाला ये list of very good universities who are getting they didn't have an integrative department now they have an integrative department as part of their medical curriculum. Hmm. And but again yoga therapy and ayurveda is still not there acupuncture in some cases in some universities they are looking at yoga therapy and I'll come to that quickly. I have another 13 minutes. I'll finish it off. So that's one thing. The other thing is um, US Food and Drug Administration FDA ये बहुत इसको बहुत कठिन organization they don't let you use any drug or unless they go through layers of testing that's one of the reasons the costs are high up and but but देखिए but even then the hospitals, their integrative medicine services are increasing. So what means is they're letting you do like, for example, if I go to a doctor's office now and I have some inflammation, they'll say, "Oh, get that turmeric with curcumin. Go take this tablet over there." These are outside the prescriptive norms, but they're telling you to do that because now they know haldi ka bahut benefits hai. Amla is still not that well known outside, but it'll get there, and the other things. So from 8% in 1998 to 42% in 2011. That's the um, इंटीग्रेटिव मेडिसिन ऑफरिंग हो रहा है एंड अभी तो लगता बहुत उससे भी ज़्यादा हो गया सो there is a lot of integrative issues coming in non-pharmacological approaches for pain management is becoming तो मसाज करो कि थेरेपी करो कि ये करो uh, if you don't want to take the pain medicine that's fine take it whenever is needed that kind of approach is also coming in because see the opioids are not only price wise but they are impacting the body and impacting the body in very bad ways especially used long term and therefore they have understood the doctors they all understand that it's not that they don't it's that what do you do if you have somebody in pain what do you do with the person um, and now we are seeing that yoga and other things are helping so that people are getting into that देखिए UCSF अम्बोला यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कैलिफोर्निया सैन फ्रांसिस्को Osher Center of Integrative Medicine they provide yoga classes and series of meditation healthy diet digestion yoga therapy for shoulder back pain yoga care for cancer so there are few places for where yoga is integrated with cancer care and Andrew Anderson Hospital in Dallas, in Houston, UC San Francisco. I believe Harvard. It does a lot of research, but I don't know how much they're integrated in the cancer side. But cancer, especially when there's a lot of stress involved, a lot of breathing involved, people, there are few outfits, quite well-known outfits, are looking out for yoga, and there it's where we can help. Okay, so pain management का बहुत काम हो रहा है. There is a whole bunch of काम हो रहा है कि evidence based yoga, evidence based alternate theories is coming. So एक एग्जाम्पल लो बैक पेन में कॉस्ट यूएस का कॉस्ट लो बैक पेन is $200 billion. This is actually 2017 data. It's probably more now. Approximately 10% of US adults they suffer from low back pain. And if you are to give medicine for it and surgery for it, imagine what kind of cost will that be. So people are looking at physical therapy, and a lot of doctors are even telling to go for yoga therapy, physical therapy, pain management, of other kinds of pain management, even acupuncture. And so there is a trend there too. And I have a whole bunch of data. I don't know how much it will get boring after a while, but let me kind of try to summarize this. So let me. There was an interesting slide here. Hmm. Yeah. So in order to get to an optimal and resilient, I don't know whether you can see that this is the slide I'm talking about. An optimal resilience and reduced vulnerability in daily stress. So basically, what the thing is going, the direction that America is going, is one is healthy diet. Okay, and the healthy diet may or may not be your Ayurvedic diet. They they do their own little things. They have their every other day they create a new diet system, Atkins diet, Long Beach diet, and this diet and that diet, plant-based diet and Paleo-Vedic diet. I met a doctor in Harvard, Indian doctor, ethnically Indian. He's written a book on Paleo-Vedic diet. So Vedic diet, which means Ayurvedic diet with Paleo in it, मिक्स करके वो लगा दिया अपना एक ब्रांडिंग कर दिया पैलियोवैदिक डाइट ये तो ब्रांडिंग तो होता रहा है यूएस में योगा का सीक्वेंस भी ब्रांड कर देता है लोग या योगा निद्रा लेकर आई राइज बना देता है सब बहुत कुछ करते हैं ये लोग and those are not I don't in my mind those are not ethical practices but people are doing they're not breaking the law, so they have the right to do it. So the so basically, what we are doing, what America is looking at, because of cost, because of high cost of medical practice, high cost of pharmaceuticals, the negative impact of opioids, people are going very much so into other alternatives, and this is where all the yogic yogic जो organizations है, if they can come together and propose very strongly alternates with a lot of evidence, which we have, um, we need to give that. But again, we need to have institutes in India and in America which do some of this research at a very, very high level with high calibered people. It's very, very important to have that. If I say something versus a top-notch guy comes and says something, people will listen to that much more than what I'm saying. What does this guy say? This is a poor guy. He does what does he know about health science? But if a top-notch, Stanford doctor with a whole bunch of PhDs, um, you know, not that he will always know more, but people will think he'll know more, and most of the times he does know more, he or she. And so we need to have such high caliber people in yogic sciences, in our traditional sciences. In our olden times, that was the case. The best minds used to go towards those high thoughts, and that's why we got such a high philosophy. Now, though, because of the world structure and the way our country was occupied for more than 1,000 years, our our value systems have gone bad. The things, I mean, our two greatest corners of civilization, Takshashila and Nalanda, were destroyed. Those centers of learning are gone. We lost 80% of our knowledge base in scriptures, and therefore we have to come up very strongly. Um, if we can produce, few hundred absolutely fascinating alternate scientists, every year, um, then the world will change. And I think uh, if America gets that, this is alternate science is a place to go, they will create institutes and then very quickly surpass Indian institutes. They still haven't gotten it yet, so they are not putting their money in there. But we need to think about that. So we should have starting partnerships with people over here, um, who are very dedicated, very high caliber, can think through the whole thing, organized with it. It's not a business for them; it's a passion for them. And heart comes in along with intellect. Then I think yoga is here to stay, just like the Vivekanandas of the world, the Yoganandas of the world. They're high caliber people with passion and with experience and knowledge. In yoga also we need to create. In yoga means I'm talking about yoga therapy, Ayurveda. We also need people like that with huge passion and huge, gusto. Okay, this is a civilizational concept. It's not just a health concept. It's a bring in that old civilization. आपको जो लिखा हुआ है ना, संस्कृति का जो जो छुपा हुआ है, जो लॉस्ट हुआ चला गया, उसको फिर लेने पड़ेगा. We have to bring it back, and then we have to implement this, put it all together. There's a huge amount of work remaining. That's why I have left my job to help this out. I'm 24/7 हमारा दिमाग में यही सोच रहा है कि कैसे ये चेंज करना है. It's a long struggle, but we will do it. We will, भगवान का कृपा, श्री राम जी का कृपा में हम लोग will proceed, and we'll move forward. We'll have to do this. ये तो ह्यूमैनिटी का बात है. ये तो ये तो इज नॉट सिंपल जोड़ी बूटी का बात, ये ह्यूमैनिटी का सेविंग का बात है। um, ये देखो, एक काम, एक बात देखो आप लोग, एंड यू शुड बी प्राउड ऑफ इट। इज इतना कोविड का इन्फेक्शन हुआ इंडिया में, तो नंबर 2 है, लेकिन रिकवरी रेट इज रिमार्केबली हाई। एंड आई हैव बीन आस्किंग पीपल व्हाई इज सो। इज बिकॉज पीपल to some sort of breathing? Is this because of all the jodi butti, Ayurvedic, whatever medicine they have taken? Is it because of young youth? There needs to be some good research on that in India, and that can give a good indicator to the world that alternate types or integrated medicine and integrated approach to life is very, very important. I think I'll end today here. I'll end with a prayer. नमस्कार एवरीबॉडी, नमस्कार टू द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स, आप लोग का बहुत बहुत बधाई। ओम असतोम सद्गमय तमसोम ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्म अमृतम गमय। ओम शांति 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 ही। Namaskar. Have a nice afternoon. I'll see if I can sleep. I have only 3 more hours to sleep. It's 1:30 in the morning. I may sleep till 4:30 if I can. Then my day starts. So thank you all for coming. Thanks for all the nice. I, I I don't know whether I need to reply to all of these. Why the activities of yoga couldn't be promoted in common public on charitable basis. Some of it is happening. Um, it is happening. A lot of charitable work going on. I mean, in the last 4 5 months, we have touched 30,000 sessions, in the sense that session times number of people. So many touch points we did, all charitable. But it's important to have charitable things, but charity alone cannot take a system from place to place B. There has to be some incentive mechanism. We human beings are limited in a lot of ways. We can do charity to a certain extent, but it cannot go on forever. And that's why we need systems in place. We need to have research in place. We need to have people leading the whole pack in place. We need to have leadership at the top. You know, even at a political level में भी vision चाहिए कि ये करना चाहिए हम लोग को, and then that will come down. It's just like it happening in India. I mean, कहाँ पे योगा कहाँ था, कहाँ पे चला गया? अभी तो this is a huge change in India. Such changes need to happen in America too, and it's happening to a certain extent. But at the top, Americans, they are not yet totally sold onto all these alternate sides. So that's the question I heard. I think I replied to your question. We can further. You can ping me. I have a YouTube channel. You can look me up. It's called The Techie Talkie Yogi. I also have a disease-based app called DRYOGI, Doctor Yogi. DRYOGI. You can download that. There's a lot of interesting techniques for different. You can download and take a look at that. It's free. Um, I'm doing my charitable work, Ajad ji. Well, we'll see. There are a lot of people like me doing it, but but there are people who would like to have a living out of this, and I can't blame them. Okay, Namaskar ji. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Goodbye. Good night and good morning to you, or good afternoon to you there. I'm ending my life. Namaskar again.